What's going on, family? Peace and love and blessings and all the wonderful things. Just wanted to holler at everybody real quick. Wanted to go over the subject of the ancestral altar and the importance of having an ancestral altar. So, one thing about having an ancestral altar is something for the loved ones. It helps you get over your loved ones because you don't really you never really get over the loss of a loved one. And since that's the case, so one thing that you have to understand that there is always to connect with your loved one. There's nothing spooky about it. This is something that is in your genetic memory bank as a black person, or something that you should be able to relate to, something that you should be able to remember, become a member of it again, because this is something in your DNA to have an ancestral altar, and it's to acknowledge your loved ones who have moved on. One of the reasons of having an ancestral altar, another reason I mean to say, is to connect and help them transition. Because when you have an ancestral altar, what you're doing is the people who have moved on, whether it be an uncle, a mother, father, a cousin, a sister, brother. One of the things about it is it helps them transition, because we have been taught that heaven and hell, and that people automatically go to heaven or automatically go to hell, and we have to just revisit a lot of that stuff. We really do, because we have been dealing with a religion who, some of us love it, and we have been confined to it for so many years because it was given to you at birth. But whenever you have an ancestral altar, I have a few things here that I wanted to talk about now. Certain appetites and vices that you have when you're here on earth, they don't just cut off and stop when you pass away. So what you want to do, like if you was to have an uncle who used to like to drink, or who used to smoke cigarettes or something, and he was a close uncle to you, you would want to, put something, a cigarette or his favorite tobacco, on that altar. But when you have an altar, you want to have four elements, which would be earth, wind, fire, and water. So to represent water, you want to put a clean glass of water on your altar. Now your altar space is a space that needs to be clean. It doesn't need to be in a junky area. You need to have it clean in that area as respect. Like if someone was come to your place, you would want to have that area nice and tidy for them. If you had an aunt who was a seamstress, you may want to put a sewing needle on there, or who was a writer, someone who was a writer in your family, you may want to put a pen on that altar. But that's another element, like I said, earth, wind, fire, and water. But you also want to have something that will connect with them, that they was known for in this life. If you had somebody who was an alcoholic or who liked to drink, you want to put some of that on that altar. And I would get with you as far as when to take it off the altar and things like that. You can feel in yourself when you should take something off on an altar. But it gives them a place to connect to you, and you can connect to them, because a lot of our ancestors pass away, and some people are knocked out of the body, where some people may have died instantly on something, and they may not even know that they may have tried to go back home and get in the house, but they in the spirit world. Okay, so you want to help people transition. You want to help people transition into the ancestral realm. Now, sometimes you have people who, when someone passes away, we always are you know, we have to look at it from two different points of views, because leaving this earth plane is actually a beautiful thing. It's actually a great thing to do, to leave this earth plane. In ancient Orient times in Asia, they used to, before the warriors would go into battle, they had certain pressure points that will take them out of the body. They had certain pressure points that would take them out of the body, where they could look on their life before. This is before they went into war. Before they went into war, so they would look at the feeling and get the feeling of how it would be to be dead. So when they would put them back into the body and hit those certain pressure points to put them back into the body, when you're going into war, it was all free reign, because you wasn't afraid of death anymore, because you've already been there. So one thing about people who they can connect themselves to you. So sometimes you have people, you know, we're oftentimes very selfish when people pass away, because they're in a better place. And we always say that, oh, they're in a better place. That's true, they are in a better place. But what you're grieving, it kind of confuses them, and it kind of keeps them in this earth realm where they cannot ascend to where they need to be in the soul realm. So that's what I'm saying. An ancestral altar will help them to ascend and help them get through some things that they had going on earth. You don't want the ancestors to, because you know something that can happen is you can start having ancestors to cling on you. Like if you had somebody who was a drinker or a smoker or anything like that, and they still not have, they can get it through you. They can get their fix through you. So you don't really want that. It's better for the ancestors, your ancestors, to feed off of the altar instead of feeding off of you. So that's one of the ways of that's one thing. That's one of the importance of having an ancestral altar, because we have to understand that it's a sacred place, and you want to find a sacred place in your home. When you're setting up an altar, you want to have your place really sacred, a place that there's a lot of traffic in. You don't want to necessarily have to have it in your bedroom unless you have to. If you live in an apartment or a smaller place, you can do that. You can have it in on your bathroom, or not the bathroom. Don't have it in the bathroom or on your bedroom, but try to find a space that you feel in yourself that your ancestors will be okay with. Because once you start doing this, you're going to start feeling your ancestors in certain feelings that you've already had, but now you know where it's coming from. Now you know where it's coming from. When you're making an altar, when you're having an altar, you want to have a white sheet. You get you a white sheet and you put it over a table, over a dresser, wherever you put the white sheet over. You put the white sheet, and then I said you represent 4 elements: fire. You get a white candle, and you want to light that candle. I'm gonna show a description of this. I'm gonna show a visual of this. But you want to get a white candle, which represents fire. You want to get an incense, which represents wind. Some people use the incense for fire and wind, but you got the candle already. Get an incense that represents wind. Water, of course, represents water. And earth, you can get some stones, you know, something from the earth, like a rock or something like that. Some stones, that's from the earth. That's something that you can do. Now also you can use seashells for the water too, because seashells are a representation of water. And the 5th element on that altar is going to be the picture of your ancestor. You can have 1 ancestor, 2 ancestors, but you also want to write their name on a piece of paper and put it, like I said, I'm going to make a visual of this as well. But your ancestors, they have to transition from this life into the higher realms that they're going to. Okay, so one thing about ancestors too is, you know, they always say when a black man die, he leaves a bill. When a white man die, he leaves a will. But sometimes you have ancestors who have passed away and they have left debt. They have left, and that's why a lot of families are in poverty. A lot of families are in poverty because of past, and because that energy doesn't go away. If you leave a lot of debt, a lot of unpaid things behind, that energy does not go away. So it can cling on to you from stuff from your ancestors. Again, like I said, a lot of families are in poverty because of that. So another element that you can add onto the altar is ancestral money, ancestor money. I'm gonna show you all how that looks too. So I just wanted to give an intro to this about the ancestor altar, the ancestral altar, and something that we have to consider of doing, because we are, as black people, we're trying to live on a paradigm of European, that's on a European system. We're trying to live on a European system, and a lot of us, you know, it's not really working for us like that. A lot of people are struggling as black people. We're struggling financially, but when you start to help your ancestors transition, in return, they're going to help you. Your ancestors are going to help you in return. Another thing about the ancestral altar that I was writing and keeping is sometimes it's important to put food down there. If you make some food for yourself, and you know your uncle loves Chinese food, or you know somebody loves something, put some food on there for them too. Okay? Put a little plate and put some food on them. And as far as taking it down, you can take it down every other day or take it down every day. It just depends on how you feel. Again, a lot of this stuff is going to depend on how you feel. You know, putting down food for the ancestors. And I'm telling you all, you're going to see a difference with this. You're going to see a difference with the ancestors helping out for you, to work for you on your behalf on this earth, because your ancestors know what it is to be on this earth. They know how it is to struggle. They know how the struggle is real, being in America, being in this earth, period, being black. So they are going to help you. Your ancestors will help you. You have parents, grandparents, aunties, uncles who are sitting there and they don't know how to transition, and that's why this is where you get ghosts from. This is where you get ghosts, and this is nothing spooky that I'm going to tell you, but a lot of people are trapped on a realm who have passed away already. They're trapped in a realm where they can't move on because they don't have anyone in their family who has an ancestral altar. And if you're the only person who does this for your family, then that's a good thing, because you're helping out other people in your family. You're helping out other siblings or people who may be who don't believe in having an ancestral altar, think it's something of the devil, or they think it's something that's not good. And that, you know, you may have a lot of Christians in your family, which most of us do. And you may have had an ancestor who was a Christian, you know, who's on a level, they're still on the level of Christianity, on a savior figure. You may have an ancestor who did something else, who was a root worker, or somebody who did magic, or someone who was a numerologist who can help you out with numbers, who can give you some numbers. Okay? What else about the ancestors? You want to have it in a sacred place in your home. Now, if you're a husband and a wife, you don't want to have an ancestor, you don't want to have an altar together. You want to have two separate altars. They can be next to each other, but you don't want to have the same, because, you know, it's for your bloodline. This is for your bloodline. and your ancestors are going to work with you for your bloodline. That's how that works. Your wife is not a part of your bloodline, except you all are married, but she doesn't. You're not marrying your cousin or anything like that, right? I think I pretty much covered everything with them being in your bloodline. But this is going to help you. I'm gonna put it out. I'm gonna put out the video of the visual of the altar setup. I'm not gonna put up my particular altar, but just to show you how an altar is. You have a picture of an auntie. Put a picture of them while they were happy. Put something when they was happy on a picture, when they were smiling or they was having a good time. Let that be the energy that you put on the altar for your ancestors. Don't put an ancestor on your. Don't put a picture of your ancestor who was on your altar, who was on their deathbed. Don't do that. Put something lively of them. And I'm telling you, this is going to help you. I hope you all understand this and hope you like it. And I hope most of you are open to it, who this may be for, because it's not for everybody to do it. But if you're looking at this video, this is a message for you. Maybe you want to start doing an ancestral altar. So I'm gonna show a visual of it so everyone can see it. But the ancestral altar is very important. I just want to make sure I'm covering everything. But one love and everything, one peace. Peace and love and blessings. Oh, I gotta get up. My freaking leg then went to sleep. Leg then went to sleep. So we're gonna catch up soon. Look at this view. Nice view out today. Nice view out. But just wanted to holler at everybody. I know y'all probably saying something about my hair, but I'm gonna get my hair done. Gotta get my hair fixed. Alright, we're gonna talk soon. Peace.